The big story this week is Arch Manning, and yeah, you see that correctly. The #1 Texas Longhorns. Texas is fully back after their huge win this last week, and where Quinn Ewers suffered an oblique injury, I believe they were calling it. And Arch came in and had 5 touchdowns, 4 passing, 1 incredible rushing touchdown where he was faster than Tyreek Hill, I believe, last week, which, is the fastest man on earth. So, Arch is coming in, being the #1 overall recruit coming out of his class and adding another layer to that offense with his legs has just kind of fueled the fire to the Quinn Ewers and Arch Manning talk, Pat.
Yeah, and it's not just that, obviously, and he ran 20-point-whatever miles an hour and was clocked faster than Tyreek Hill. I think there's going to be a lot of conversation around college football about this conversation because Quinn Ewers, Heisman favorite there for a while. Quinn Ewers back healthy. Quinn Ewers balling. Quinn Ewers potentially the first quarterback off the board going into the NFL this year. So good. But there's another quarterback on that team that has the last name of Manning. And if he's going to go for 5 touchdowns every week, which is certainly possible, that is going to be a loud talking point, whether they like it or not. And that is going to be something that Sark is going to have to navigate, obviously. And the Mannings will be completely cool with it all because they've obviously agreed to everything that's happening, even though Arch is making the decisions, but wanted to go to Texas, didn't mind sitting and waiting, didn't mind having a college experience, didn't mind being a normal human, normal teammate. But then he gets on the field and he goes bananas.
Yeah.
And he's the fastest guy on the field.
Crazy.
And he's been going to the Manning Passing Academy since he's 8 years old.
Yeah.
Okay, so there is certainly some benefits to that. And I heard some people say, would we even be talking about this if his last name wasn't Manning with Quinn Ewers? It's no, that's why we're fucking talking about it. Do you know the Manning Passing Academy? Do you know what that is? People have gone to the Mannings literally since the beginning of Manning's playing football to kind of get baptized into NFL football. This is what it is. And you hear Kurt Warner talk about how Peyton Manning was the best at just diagnosing before the snap and everything like that. Arch has been able to utilize that as a phone call literally whenever for his entire life. That is an advantage. That is a bonus.
Certainly.
That most quarterbacks that don't have the last name Manning would ever have. So certainly we'll talk about it because he is a Manning. And I think Arch understands that he's going to be chatted about because he's a Manning, which he has handled wonderfully. His teammates love him. Teammates, it's a really anomaly of a situation in 2024 seemingly because his NIL wherever he went would be whatever the hell he wanted.
Yeah.
At this moment.
Huge.
Could you imagine he was quarterback at West Virginia?
Oh, my. I couldn't actually.
Yeah, me
nope,
neither.
They couldn't afford him.
What are you talking about?
Plus,
we couldn't afford them.
They'd win more than 3 straight games.
But we're obviously not the only school that's thinking that. There's schools right now that are in the top 5 of, the AP ranking, and they're could you imagine if we had
Notre Dame.
Could you imagine if we had Arch Manning?
Florida State.
And Arch Manning didn't leave.
Nope.
Was cool with it. It's going to be another year. Whatever. I'll continue. Whenever you need me, I'll be ready. Didn't bitch about it. It's to remain that humble with all the things that are potentially available. And I know he comes from a family that has money. I'm not saying that entire thing. But still, with the entirety of wanting to play, wanting the relevance, wanting the spotlight, always has had it. Him being cool with I'll just bench. I'll sit on the bench and wait my time. That's why we're talking about it. Because that's a big deal, I think. He is a Manning, and how this is all going is a massive ordeal because how it could be on the flip side.
Yeah, and I mean, a lot of people are saying, hey, listen, there is no QB controversy here, okay? When Quinn Ewers comes back, he's going to be the guy, and he will be, but, and I know it was UTSA. I get it. But Arch went out there, had 5 touchdowns. Okay, let's look ahead to the Red River. If Quinn Ewers throws a couple, picks.
See, why are you doing this? You're doing exactly what.
I'm just saying what's going to happen. Arch is going to just start ringing through the rafters.
Didn't that happen with Caleb, right?
Caleb and Rattler.
Yeah,
exactly.
That was what happened with Caleb.
It's the same thing because you've seen it out there. I mean, the proof's in the pudding. It's okay, yeah. Not only can this guy play, he was the #1 recruit, it's a Manning. Okay, this guy's got Peyton, Archie, Cupper, and Eli's blood running through his veins. It is what it is.
All right, we'll get to the rest of those conversations at a later time. We appreciate you, Tone. College football is awesome.
Yeah.
Pumped for this weekend.
College football is awesome.
Great problem to have, you Texas.
Yes, absolutely. And great problem to manage for Sark.
Absolutely.
Having to deal with it, obviously having 2 great quarterbacks is better than having no great quarterbacks. But there's a lot of personality, culture, questions that come into place there because the locker room's going to have a favorite, So for them not having a favorite, seemingly, very good. And he's losing his student ID cards.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I think Arch is potentially out there with the boys as well.
Oh, yeah.
Sign in the stands.
You know, I think there is. Joining us now, ladies and gentlemen, is a man who we don't know how he didn't get so distracted at the Ohio State. He was the Ohio State boy from Centerville, Ohio, where he once, 3 times recorded 31 tackles in one game. He also had a touchdown in all of those. Mm-hmm. And he averaged punted 44 yards in each one of those games.
Jeez.
This is the face of football. Whoa. Ladies and gentlemen, his dad is not named Cooper Manning. His dad's named fucking Pistol. Ladies and gentlemen, AJ Hawk.
Yeah.
How you doing, bud?
You're right. Hey, think about it, though. It's a great problem to have at Texas. Absolutely great problem to have. Still a bit of an issue, though. Still something you're going to have to manage. All of a sudden, Quinn Ewers, I'm just telling you, like, it is a real deal. Like, if you're Sark, the first 3 and out Quinn Ewers has, whenever that comes, like, it just happens. It sucks that it has to happen because both these guys are awesome, but hey, it's real.
It is very real. And AJ, that's it's funny that your first takeaway is like, not just as an Ohio State person, obviously you're going to have your biases towards every other school but OHIO, but like also as somebody that's been on a team, it's like, hey, we don't have time, right? We lose one game, that's a whole different ball game for what this season could be, and we've already seen what this guy is. And have you heard the crowd when this guy comes on the field?
Man.
It's like
Chris Leak, Tim Tebow situation.
Oh, they split time, didn't they, for that first year?
Had to get him in there. Had to get some packages. And obviously, Arch has a different skill set than Quinn. But I still think it's Quinn's team because Quinn was that
Heisman.
He was that guy, even coming out of high school, one of the highest rated players ever coming out of I think South Lake or whatever that school is. And he's been doing his thing. Number 1 pick, was playing well. Your point. You throw a pick 6, you have a 3 and out, you struggle a little bit. We know we got Manning boy on the sideline, but I think it's Quinn's team. It's a good situation right now. Great situation.
We got this Manning boy, we're not the only ones having this conversation.
Oh no.
Because like the sports books, ESPN Bet is actually Arch Manning is more favored to win the Heisman than Quinn Ewers.
Yeah, sorry.
I mean, come on.
1 week.
And you're trying to tell me it's not a thing. Like, it's a thing.
Yeah, it is certainly a thing. Yeah. There's people out there trying to say it's not going to be, and it's like, I think you are wrong. I think
there's only one quarterback position on the team.
Yeah, and it's a very important position. And it sucks that this is the way human instinct is, but like, you see the name Manning and you see quarterback and you see this one might be the most athletic version of these things. It's hard for people that aren't as close followers of the Texas program to not just be like, what are you guys doing?
Wait a minute.
We're down in the third quarter? Why are we down? It's just like, it's stupidity. It's people that don't necessarily know the ins and outs of the program, but it's going to happen.
Without a doubt.
And with these sports books doing this, they're like, it's going to get too loud. Yeah. Sark's not going to be able to handle it. Arch is going to be the quarterback the rest of the season. And if you look at their schedule, Texas has any SEC first year, could you imagine if they do that? Arch would hold that over his uncle's heads because obviously Peyton at Tennessee, Eli at Ole Miss, Arch Manning takes Texas in their first year in the SEC and just wreck shop. That would be quite a situation in the Manning household.
Yeah, without a doubt.